Hello again, and welcome back to the Battle of the Brains podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Yinka Adedeji. We're here today kicking off our regional podcast series a little bit differently. We're thrilled to welcome David Barnes, Program Director of Emerging Internet Technologies at IBM, live in his home studio. David, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Yinka. Now, by the way, for the people that are viewing, this is a little different than we originally planned. Yinka and I were talking about, we'll do just a regular old phone interview and record it. And I told her, I just got a new camera and just applied a new firmware hack to it, which this audience will appreciate. I'm pulling about 60 megabit per second right now from the sensor to the SDC HD card. Had some buffer overflow issues, had to tweak it a little bit, but we'll find out. Hopefully, this video is going to rock.
Welcome back to the ICPC team, David. It's been a few years since you attended the contest, so our new generation of listeners are probably curious to learn about you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at IBM?
Sure. The group I work in IBM, well, first of all, I'm a technology evangelist. So it's one of the coolest jobs in the company, and the group I work in is one of the coolest groups to work in. Emerging Internet Technologies, what we do is we look out on the horizon, 12 to 18 months, and we see what's going on in the technology industry that might affect our customers. Then we build out new technologies. I work with some awesome super geeks. We build out some new technologies, we hook up with customers, find out, is this of business value to them? Does it have business value? And then when we find out it does, I'll say, mature the technology. Eventually, if everything's right and we're right on target, it becomes an IBM product.
Awesome stuff. Of course, you've worked your entire career to get to this point. How did you get started in the IT industry, and how has your career progressed?
When I started, it wasn't even called IT. It was called data processing. I worked in the big computer rooms, raised floor, massive mainframes, DASD, we didn't call it disk drives then, direct access storage devices as far as the eye could see. And I was an oscilloscope guy. I was a hardware guy. I used to shoot bugs all the way down to the bit. And when you did that, I actually had to know assembler code and how to debug assembler code, because you had to write your own routine, get it to loop, not stop on error, and then scope down to the individual bit on the bus. And it was the coolest thing. But then I did a presentation to a customer. That's when I found, wow, this is my passion. And I started to present to more customers, and people invited me to present to more. And about 20 years later, I was still on the road. I became IBM's first technology evangelist. And I went out, 38 countries, 4 million miles. Couldn't have done it without this job. I went out to customers and I shared what we're doing strategically. Got a little tired of being on the road, so I came back to Austin. Well, I always lived here, but let's say I got to Austin, and I ran an Extreme Blue lab. It's an internship lab, really cool down here in Austin. Ran a Solutions Experience lab. Then I got restless, said I wanted to get on the road again, and that's how I found my way into the Emerging Internet Technologies group.
Super interesting. I hope our listeners, especially the IC participants, are taking notes. As a leader in your industry, what are some of the major areas of growth that IBM and other leading IT companies will be focusing on as we move into 2014?
Undoubtedly, the area of focus is cloud. In the last couple of years, not just us, but everybody in the industry, we're focusing on big data and mobile, big data analytics and mobile, and now cloud. And the reason I see that they're really coming together and that the cloud is becoming the most important thing is most of the mobile stuff that everybody's working on, it's out there already, and it really fits using a cloud architecture to drive that. Same thing with big data analytics. My first rule of big data is that big data does not like to move. And since we're gathering so much of it out on the cloud, out on the web, it makes sense to put it in one place, a cloud environment, to run our big data analytics stuff on. So I will tell the people that are watching this video, if you're early in your career and you want to find out where the jobs are, find out where big companies are spending their money. We at IBM right now, we've got about 20,000 customers in the cloud environment. We've got 125, no, actually, let me back up. We've got 37,000 IBMers working on specifically cloud solutions, about 25 data centers, cloud data centers around the world. So we got 37,000 people working on this, and we still don't have enough. Not IBM, not any company in the industry. We want more people with cloud and cloud skills. So what we're doing, one of the things is we've hooked up with a lot of universities, an academic initiative, about 100 of them, so that we help them ramp up their curriculum around cloud computing so that we can create or help, I won't say create, help educate more new students. We call them the millennial developer, right? Our next generation developer, which I don't like, by the way, because I live in the millennium too. But so ramping up that skills base to come into this enterprise, that's where all the jobs are, and cloud is the focal point.
It's so great to hear about cloud computing, especially since it'll be the theme for the 2014 World Finals. One last question before we let you go. How can students take advantage of the ACM ICPC to aid in their own career development?
Oh boy, I'll tell you, just being a part of the ICPC, already a good thing, because I look at a lot of resumes. I hire people. When I see ICPC participant on resume, that's already a big plus. One of the things that I think is really beneficial for people that come to the event is learning how to apply technology to things that matter in both business and society. I learned early on that technology for technology's sake, cool, but nobody's going to fund it if you're in the research space. No company is going to pursue it if it doesn't have business value, or government, academia, for a social value. So coming to ICPC, you find out what matters and you start working on it. Look at healthcare. Right now, we've got iOS devices, Android devices. We've got smartwatches coming down the road. We've got Google Glasses. We've got Fitbits. We've got all of this information. What do we do with it? That's one of the innovative challenges that we look at ICPC. And it's one of those things that matters. In this case, healthcare. It matters to society. So you learn a lot about how to apply the technology in cool new ways. You also, at ICPC, you hook up with other people with great ideas. We use social software today. I'm not always sure it's as social as it should be. At ICPC, somebody from Australia might hook up with somebody from Lebanon and determine, hey, I've got this cool idea. I've got this cool idea. If we can get together, wow, we can make something incredible. And that's one of the great benefits of it. I'll tell you, from my personal perspective, I want to go there because I hook up with smart people. Always surround yourself with smart people. And you know what? I think it was Bill Gates that said that. And it's obviously been successful for him.
Thanks, David. We're so excited to have you back on the ICPC team. I know we'll be hearing much more from you as we get ready for World Finals in Yekaterinburg, Russia this June.
I'm looking forward to being there. It's been a couple years since I was involved with ICPC. Since I became involved with this, I'm starting to get really pumped. Hopefully, I'll get to meet a lot of the different people that are watching this broadcast. Hopefully, they'll be there at the event.
Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Keep checking in for new interviews on our podcast at battleofthebrains.podbean.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/brainbattleicpc. And be sure to check out videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/brainbattleicpc. For more information on the contest itself, you can visit the official ACM ICPC website at icpc.baylor.edu. This is Yinka Adedeji. Thanks for joining us.